Hello, and we are back again on Boomer11 podcast. Today we're going to be talking about cricket, or rather, maybe football, because there are substitutions that's going to be allowed in the IPL. And are we going to be seeing players coming off wearing a bib? Abel, what do you reckon?
I mean, that's going to be very interesting if your manager or if your coach says, "Come on, get ready, start warming up," and the player starts warming up. I hope that's going to be a scene, and you're going to see a number board go up. How exciting will that be? All of a sudden, you're going to see a jersey number being raised up. I think that needs to be introduced in cricket for some bit of excitement. Imagine a Virat Kohli is a substitute. That's going to be so cool when he's going to come into the ground. Can you ever imagine that day Virat Kohli is going to be like a water boy or a substitute and he's going to be called in? And that is possible, right? That is quite possible. For your team, you got to do everything. And that's why I'm very excited about this tactical substitute. And I'm in love with the topic which I've chose for this podcast today.
Yeah, but I mean, unfortunately, what's going to happen though is players who are not playing are not going to be allowed to, cross their legs and sit in the AC dressing room anymore. But then they don't need to warm up because India is pretty hot nowadays. So all they need to do is come onto the field. I suppose that's all they need for the warm up.
Absolutely. I think so. I think Sandeep is a better person to talk about it because KKR has got very cold legs at this point.
No, but I think we'll still manage 11 players, 11 Indian players, because at the most you can have four foreign players. No matter you are giving the names for 11 players or 15 players. So I think we have those 11 Indian players, but I'm not quite sure of RCB. You spoke about Virat Kohli being an impact sub. I don't see that happening, but probably with some of the older players like Fab du Plessis or probably a Glenn Maxwell who seems a bit lazy, we can probably see them as impact subs.
You reckon
No, I
AB
don't
de
think
Villiers or
so.
Chris Gale have been brought in only for this reason to be impact subs? All of a sudden, it's AB de Villiers who was an impact sub who comes in 360-degree.
Oh, that's gonna be cool, right? But for that, I think RCB should name three foreigners to start off with. For a lot of people who do not know what impact sub is, let
Oh,
me make it very clear.
I think AB at this point in time is a Bangalorean. He should be
Yeah,
considered a Bangalorean.
I think that should be the way to go. I'd call AB and Chris one of our own more than any other teams,
And it
and it's
is
gonna be
so
very
sad that
interesting.
AB de Villiers, even after retirement, will not be winning any trophies. Like he did not for South Africa as well. It's so sad.
I don't know for what role is he being inducted into. If he's going to be inducted in for a mentor, I think he'll
Virat's
get an
roommate.
IPL trophy maybe at the end of this season. But I'm very scared, man, because of the impact player rule, you can't play fantasy cricket. I do not know which player to really have in my fantasy team. I think all these fantasy apps have to really change, especially playing on Boomer11. I have to maintain a good record as well. So just to make sure that I have to maybe ask some of these teams, get some back end channel talks going on with some of the people there and know, oh, kisko na, kisko use karne wale aaj ka match mein. And that's not going to be a thing, right? With impact sub, it's going to be situational based. If you're going to have a bad day
Yeah.
with the bat, you're going to name maybe a number 8 batsman as your main Indian player who's going to walk out of the bench. So it's going to be crazy to see how it goes.
And
But
I think it
there's
will help
yeah,
KKR pretty much because they have a very shallow batting order. Because once they start losing wickets, it's a cluster of wickets that they lose. So I think this impact sub will probably help.
we are definitely going to be we're definitely going to be seeing Shreyas Iyer walking in with crutches as an impact sub from the hospital bed. It's going to be very
and still
interesting.
managing to score more than some of the Indian players.
Oh man, I don't think any other KKR player can even come close to what Shreyas Iyer at this point. And for me personally, I think Shreyas Iyer should be allowed to come in just for this very reason. Maybe he should be used just as an impact sub throughout the tournament. He doesn't have to play the whole tournament. Just come in as an impact sub and make an impact. Like
I
in
can
football, it's a
clearly
super
see your
sub, right?
hatred for
Same thing.
KKR has really changed your alliance. I mean, at the start you were talking about all the World Test
I mean,
Championship
I am a big
finals,
fan of
and right
Shreyas
now
Iyer.
you
I
are
am
like,
not against any team, Sanjivani. You've just termed me as a KKR hater for some reason. I don't know why, but I really want to see this impact
you
player
really
being
want
a
to see
success in
Shreyas Iyer
IPL.
come in, come in with his crutches to play cricket, and you're saying you don't hate KKR.
I did not say about
Trust
crutches.
me.
He spoke about crutches. I am
Yeah.
saying Shreyas Iyer can be used to full of utility just as an impact player. Maybe you don't have to make him field for 40 overs, Just make him there as an impact sub for 10 overs a game. Just come in and change, and that's going to create a whole different scenario this IPL.
And
It's
I think it
12
will
versus
really
12
help the
this IPL.
CSK players
Yeah.
as well because the average age that they have, I think some of the players will be very happy that they'll get some rest.
Yeah, I think for us, Sisanda Magala will be our impact sub. He definitely creates a lot of impact right when you look at him. Takes
So
up a
you're
lot of
telling
the
me you're only
camera
gonna
as
play
well.
with three foreigners throughout?
No, that was just a dig at my own team because Wayne Parnell is going to be watching this match, just as I am going to be, and I'm very disappointed he's not going to be one of our players. But just moving
I think
aside, it's going
Ajinkya
to be
Rahane will be a very good impact sub.
To
I think
bat
that's
at a
probably
strike
one of
rate
the
of what,
players.
80?
I think they'll employ an Ajinkya Rahane when they
See,
have lost 4 5
even if
wickets very
if Babar
quickly.
Azam can be one of the best T20 players in the world, then we definitely can make Ajinkya Rahane the best T20 player in IPL this year.
Absolutely. Imagine
Definitely.
Ajinkya Rahane with the orange cap. My goodness. Ajinkya Rahane, Ruturaj Gaikwad leading, scoring 600 odd runs this IPL. CSK will be super, super happy, man.
No, I think CSK would need an Ajinkya Rahane and Rituraj Gaikwad to go on to score 600 odd runs so that they can win another title. I think otherwise this CSK team does not have the ignition to go all the way through.
Yeah, I think I'll just move on from what I also really think is the truth. But I think it's going to be very interesting which teams really come up with what ideas. But one player, one coach that I'm really interested in how he uses the 12 player is someone like a Mike Hessen, because I think
Yeah.
Mike Hessen's mind is like a chess game. I know he's never won an IPL tournament. That's probably because IPL is not chess. But
Yeah.
but I really genuinely think Mike Hessen is going to come up with some of the best impact sub we've seen in the history of IPL.
More than Mike Kessinger, and I'm so excited to see how Dhoni is going to use impact player. Now
I think I've
that's what
baited you.
intrigues me even more than anything, right? Mike Kessinger,
Yeah.
we all know, but Dhoni always keeps his card close to his chest. Imagine Dhoni having that freedom of using impact players. You never know who is he going to really find and just throw into the deep waters. For me, I think this is all going to be all captains are just going to watch Dhoni to look, okay, this is how we are going to use impact sub, and Dhoni
And
is
I
going to
mean,
set a trend once again.
yeah.
I'm
And
glad
it's
Dhoni is
also
still playing
possible
the
that
IPL when this is there.
I think that's also the reason why the first match is Gujarat Titans rather now. Gujarat Titans versus CSK because everyone is like, Dhoni bhai, it's all yours. Show us how it's done.
And I
And
think the
also,
first person that will replicate Dhoni is Hardik Pandya because the way he has reduced his strike rate with the bat in the later half of his international career, I think he'll just go on to follow Dhoni's footsteps.
I
You
mean,
reckon
yeah,
he's
he's
gonna
fallen.
stop? He's going to also be a little Dhoni like a reverse Dhoni and start keeping as well because Gujarat Titans also have an issue with the keeper because if Matthew Wade doesn't do well, then Ridhiman Saha striking at 122. I don't think that's going to be a very good help for them. So maybe their impact sub is going to be a keeper.
I think KS Bharat is going to be their impact sub, and for Chennai,
We do have
I
PS
think it's
Bharat,
going to be
yeah.
anybody. Chennai is all of a sudden going to pick up a ball from the streets and be like, okay, you're the impact sub, and he's going to go out there, pick up 4 wickets, and you're going to be like, oh my god, what's going to happen? But talking
I
about which
mean,
for
the way they
RCB,
treated Jadeja last season, I think Jadeja can also be an impact sub in this team.
Jadeja will just leave the franchise, bro, at the end of the season if that's going to be the case. Jadeja is going to be like, I think other teams want me better. And Jadeja really takes it up to his ego. You know how he is. You know how he went behind Manjrekar. I don't think it's not going to be easy. But talking
I think
about
he's
which,
not
I think
forgotten it yet.
RCB, I think needs impact substitutes more than anyone else. I think RCB is finding it very difficult to fill their 11 at this point. I think they need at least more players. They need to buy players. Hazelwood out, Hasanaga out, Rajat Patidar out. Who else? Maxwell is here and there, and everyone is gone. I mean, this team is like at this point an injury bed, and it's become an injury Premier League at this point. Every team has got an injury.
Yeah. Well, I think in terms of Maxwell, you need to be very careful to make sure there's no house parties happening in RCB. Luckily, they all stay in a hotel, so maybe that's going to save him from some
You
injuries.
should stop Maxwell from going out to Church Street, which is very near to Chinnaswamy Stadium, and trying to make him explore those pubs at night.
I mean,
Yeah.
talking about great injuries, we have to talk about Johnny Bairstow, who's going to be missing out. Is going to be Matthew Short. I think no one's probably heard of him, and it's not for the right reason because never played ever in India. It's going to be another Shot. Remember Darcy's Shot, whom everyone put into the team. Rajasthan found out the wrong way. Now there's Matthew Short who's come in. What do you reckon? You reckon Punjab is one team who's going to really mess up the campaign just on the basis of impact, sir?
I think we're talking about impact sub. I think Punjab is going to be one team who's going to mess up the tactical subs as well. They'll have no idea who to really pick. Maybe the coach would have told something else, captain would have heard something, and all of a sudden
Oh,
Preeti Zinda would have
fun
told
fact,
something else as
fun
well.
fact, Abel, Shikhar Dhawan is their 13th captain in
Yeah.
16 IPL seasons. 13
I think they had
captaincies
more.
in IPL season.
I think
They've
that's a
had
good
two.
record.
I think they've had 3 years or 2 years where they've had two captains in one season. So
Yeah.
It's just like Aaron Finch changing t-shirts for different teams, and I think Punjab Kings are really going to suffer this time around. And also talking about overrated Australian players, I think we should also talk about the Mumbai Indians with Cameron Green. I think that is another team that will find it very difficult to fit in an impact sub.
I mean,
what
I don't think these foreigners are going to be impact subs even at all. If Mumbai Indians are going to play with 3 foreigners, that's also a possibility. But 17
No, but
crores, and if you're an
Mumbai Indians
impact
did
sub,
go on
then
to play
God
with
save you,
three
man.
foreigners.
I would
Mumbai
really
Indians
like
did
that
play
job,
with three
bro.
foreigners last time
If I'm
around.
getting paid 17 crores just to be an impact sub, I think I'll take that job any day. I just have to come into play for what, 5 overs? I mean, that's the best job we can get on this planet.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
right.
think what teams might do is, if they have an extra Indian batter or an extra Indian bowler, they might decide to play three foreigners, and that one foreign batter or bowler makes it into the 11 in the second half, or however they want to fit him in. And in that sense, it would make much more sense to have Indian players or your Indian core up there. Maybe a team like Mumbai, for instance, or a team like Delhi might try and employ something like that where their Indian
My
core
question
really
is,
comes
will
in.
Arjun Tendulkar get a chance this time around as an impact sub?
Oh, yeah,
Could
that's
he
going to be very
really
interesting.
could? That's a
Imagine
huge
Arjun
call.
Tendulkar comes to ball the last over, like 10 needed, IPL, some important match of IPL, and he comes and he balls like this 3 brilliant Yorkers, and the fourth one goes out of the park, and now the pressure is on Mumbai Indians. Everybody saying, Tendulkar, Tendulkar, and the last one I can go for six. That's going to be pretty nice. I mean, I'm going to
It's
enjoy
gonna be
this
great.
impact something.
Imagine if it's Dhoni on one side or Virat on one side, and they'll have the pleasure of playing against two Tendulkars, two generations of Tendulkars.
Yeah, a lot of these players are going to love this. But I think one impact sub for sure is going to be Rajvardhan Hangarkar. He's going to be used as
Yes.
a impact sub throughout the IPL, and of course Dhoni's guy.
I
He's
think
going to be
I
thrown in a different
won't be
position.
surprised looking at the kind of player they've replaced Kyle Jamieson with. Chennai Super Kings might be looking at Rajvardhan Hangarkar to replace in the role of Kyle Jamieson what he would have played. He's an Indian player as well. So I'm really glad if Rajvardhan Hangarkar comes into picture, and I hope they use him much better than what Punjab Kings did with Raj Bawa.
Yeah.
All in all, I think a lot of youngsters will get a chance because with the rule that there can only be 4 foreigners in that list of
Yeah.
15 players. So that will give a lot of new Indian youngsters opportunities to showcase their talent. And I think even a team like Lucknow Super Giants, who last time around we saw the emergence of Mohsin Khan. This time around he is injured and unlikely to play. So is
Mukesh Chaudhary.
Mukesh Chaudhary. Yeah, so Chennai Super Kings are going to miss out on
Yeah.
that as well. But I think it is a great opportunity for these youngsters to come in and showcase their talent and take the game away.
Absolutely. I
I
also
think
feel someone of maybe I was just thinking I was in the Sunrisers Hyderabad team. You can get in someone like a Karthik Tyagi as your impacts up throughout that
yeah.
season if Natarajan is not there. So Sunrisers Hyderabad are again going to have a good time. Even if you want to replace someone like a Washington Sundar is always in the hospital bed, it's possible to bring up a impact sub through the middle of the season.
Yeah, I think for me, Sunrisers are only going to be. I think there will be a year where Sunrisers are only going to be fast bowlers. Top to bottom, fast bowlers. Number one, batting fast bowlers. They already converted Marco Jansen into a batting all rounder in SA20, bowling all rounder in SA20, where he smashed none other than someone like Rashid Khan. I think it probably should explain MS Dhoni how to bat against Rashid Khan. Probably if you see Marco Jansen and Dhoni talking after a match, it's probably Dhoni asking how to bat against Rashid Khan. But having said that, it's just going to be great to see
But
how impact
just
is
one
going
more
to.
question: will Rajasthan Royals use their captain as an impact sub, given that he's not getting a place in the Indian team as well?
I think if
Sanju
Sanju
Samson should
Samson,
stop playing cricket if he's going to be used as an impact sub there.
I think Sanju Samson is only going to be an impact sub in the Indian team when the selectors try everyone who can fit into Sanju's role. If you've put your hand in a glove for 1 second, you can become the keeper of Indian team before Sanju Samson. That's where Sanju Samson is in the situation right now. But having said that, I think we're pretty much done with our podcast episode this time around. We hope our podcast was a little longer than India's second innings collapse. So, but having said that, thank you so much, guys, for joining us, and we'll be back soon with another exciting topic.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Have a
guys.
good time.